This is the 2024 Land Rover Discovery. It's the Metropolitan Edition. And in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to give you the information to answer the question, is this the most versatile luxury midsize SUV? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at Land Rover of Shreveport to tell you all about this Discovery. It has an exterior color of Fuji white. And if you want to know more about this particular model, check out the link down in the description of the video. And I told you what the exterior color is. How about the interior? Caraway Windsor leather is what we're looking at here. A very nice interior. And this model does have a lot of great features. A comfortable interior, better than average off-road capability, no matter what people say. And while there may not be as many owners who take their Land Rover Discovery off-road, the capabilities with the all-wheel drive system here, with the air ride suspension, with everything that makes this model what it is, it's not only capable off-road, but if you're dealing with snow and ice, a lot of rain, slick driving conditions, that is helpful. And speaking of snow and ice, for those of you who live in areas where you normally get a lot of that, or it's just really cold, here's an advantage. You not only have a heated windshield, you also have the heated washer jets. So what does that mean? If you have to park your Discovery outside or maybe at the end of the workday, it's going to be a lot easier to get that windshield cleaned off, get rid of the ice, and get ready to head down the road as you need to. A typical look here, very classic of the Discovery with the front grille. The Land Rover logo prominently displayed, not too big, not too small. I think that actually works in this particular area because the grille's just not quite big enough to have a large logo here, I don't think. Tell me what you think about that. And the Discovery logo with the raised lettering, should that be something other than raised lettering? Tell me what you think down in the comments section. You will also find the premium LED headlights with the signature daytime running lights, auto high beam assist, and everything that you see here is active. All of the vents, everything here, this is active. Obviously the lower grille active, obviously the upper grille active. Now there is some gloss black here. Tell me what you think about that. Is that a good thing? In an area like this where you could potentially get some rock chips and things like that, maybe that should be flat black or matte black, just depends. Obviously this model is all-wheel drive. Let's talk about tire and wheel size. The width is going to be 285. So much tread on the ground, such a wide tire that I can't quite get my hands all the way across. A 40 series sidewall wrapped around the 22-inch wheels. And by the way, something you might have wondered about earlier in the video, what's changed for 2024? Well, overall, nothing cosmetically. However, the trim levels have been consolidated from 5 down to 4, and across all trim levels now, standard, you'll find LED headlights, the heated steering wheel, and the heated front seats. And to kind of break things up here, I always wonder, now you do have the black trim right here, the gloss black trim, that helps break things up. Should there be some kind of a gloss black insert right here, something to kind of make the word Discovery stand out right there? Tell me what you think about that. And you'll find gloss black trim around the entirety of the vehicle on the lower portions, around the fenders right there, on the bottom portion of the doors, and up top as well, as we have the power adjustable heated power folding side view mirrors with turn signal indicators built in. You will also find the cameras down there. Let me lock the interior so you can see those power folding side view mirrors in action. The gloss black roof here, the top of the vehicle, should it stop right here? Or should that maybe come further down? In my personal opinion, I think that's actually done very well with the way it's designed. You do have the roof rails up there. You can take advantage of that. We have our tail lights back here. The Discovery logo again on the rear. A nice clean look on the rear window. Why is that? Because you don't have a window wiper, rear window wiper out here in the open. That doesn't mean it is not here. It's within the rear roof spoiler right here that, by the way, does finish things off nicely. And a lot of the time when you hear 3-liter 6-cylinder, you probably think, well, it isn't making a ridiculous amount of horsepower. Well, it's rather plentiful here at 355. The torque comes in at 369. and it's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, power ultimately finding its way to the ground through all-wheel drive. This is a mild hybrid electric vehicle, or MHEV. And what does that mean exactly? It means you have a low voltage battery that is paired with an electric motor. It improves fuel efficiency, helps the engine to run more smoothly and be more powerful, and it powers things such as the air conditioning, the radio, all of that, ultimately just helping out to make this a more efficient vehicle. How about MPGs? 17 city, 23 highway, 19 combined, 5.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. The gas tank is located over here on the right or passenger side. It's 23.8 gallons, and it does have a good old-fashioned gas cap. So if you're a person who is not a fan of capless fuel fill, that's good. And you know what? You could put a locking gas cap on there if you so desire to do so. And here is the remote. For those of you who may want to know what that looks like, you can see what all is there. I will open the power tailgate, and while that's opening, let's talk about towing capacity. 5,952 pounds, but that's not the maximum. It's actually a very impressive 8,200 pounds max. And you do have what's called the split tailgate. So you've got your tailgate right here. You also have this section right here that can be used for a multitude of different functions. It could be just used for a seat when it's in its upright position. It can be used to just keep things in place. There is 3 rows of seating back here, a removable cargo cover, and speaking of that, here's something you don't see in a lot of these videos. I'm going to give you the cargo capacity, not in cubic feet, but in inches. The width back here is going to be 43 inches, and that's just going to be the opening right here. Height-wise, a couple of different measurements. From the floor to where the door shuts right here, kind of the shut line of sorts, we're looking at about 33.5 inches. You'll gain a little more and go to 34 inches with the height. Now, I guess you could measure all the way to the sunroof right there, but we're not going to measure quite that high. That's going to give another couple of inches. Now let's talk depth, or what some might say length. So if we measure from right here to where the rear seats would fold up, we're going to be looking at 17 inches from right here to right here. We're looking at a total of 29 inches if we measure all the way to the back of where the split tailgate is. I don't know that that really matters, but some people might ask. And something else that you might ask, and you can probably already figure it out, if you measure from right here of just the split tailgate size itself, that's going to be 12 inches. And if we measure from the second row, we're looking at 54 inches to this area right here. We're going to go to a maximum of 73 inches, measuring from the back of the front seat to this area right here. And then obviously we'll add another 12 inches if you wanted to. It's not that big of a deal to really worry about it coming all the way out here, because you're likely not going to be driving down the road with the split tailgate down like that and your rear tailgate open. I guess you might, but probably not. And you can control everything back here, raising and lowering both sets of seats back here, even the positioning of your split tailgate right here. You can also control the height of the vehicle as far as the air suspension goes. You can raise and lower that. It just depends on what you might need to do. So you can raise and lower the rear of the vehicle where all of that is concerned. And something that I like here, let's say you're looking at maybe a full-size SUV, such as a Chevrolet Suburban, a Tahoe, GMC Yukon, whatever. When it comes to raising and lowering the power second and third row in those models, you have to hold the button down. Notice I'm not holding the button down. I have my hand for you right here, and yet the seat is coming back up into its upright position. The same thing applies with these rear seats. Kind of a nifty little thing, but of course, you probably would expect that with a little bit higher end of a brand such as Land Rover. And real quick, let's cover a couple more things you have back here. Quite a bit going on with versatility. 12-volt power outlet. You do have the cargo lighting back here. Everything you likely expect, but I'll show you what's here anyway. You also have the hangers right here for grocery bags or whatever anybody wants to put back here. And you can see that I've put the cargo cover back in place. Earlier I told you that was removable. I'm sure you saw that I did remove that. Now this third row of seating, probably better for the kids. The adults could sit back here a little bit tight, but everybody does have their air conditioning vent. And as you can see, you even have heated seats here in the third row. That's what those buttons are for right there. How comfortable is the armrest going to be for your middle row passengers? Well, it seems to be comfortable when I put my arm up there or rest my elbow up there. Hard to say long term because I'm not going to have my arm up there long enough to say. And a very clean look here because you have the control for the power window right here on the armrest on the upper portion of the door panel. The same thing obviously over there on the right-hand side or passenger side of the vehicle. Nice large door bins right here, plenty of space. And these seats do recline just a little bit. It does have the built-in fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in right there as well, so that's easy to deal with. And more storage space here on the rear of the seats with the rear seat pockets. Now here's something you don't see in a lot of vehicles. You do have 4 zones of climate control. That's not terribly unusual on a higher end vehicle, but besides being able to control the fan speed when you pull back on this control, and you can do that on both sides as well, you can push in and turn on the heated seats. Sounds like an infomercial now, but that's not all. There we go. You also have ventilated seats here in this center row. Air conditioning vents, connectivity down there in the way of USB, and there is a 12-volt power outlet as well. And I showed you the sunroof in the rear. Here's the front sunroof. Both do have a shade that can be drawn forward if so desired. And I know a lot of you are saying, okay, Tom, you've shown us a lot, and I know there's still more to show, but what's the price if I wanted to come in and buy this Discovery Metropolitan Edition at Land Rover of Shreveport? $88,868. So let's see what else you get for that price. The armrest, same setup as what we saw with the rear doors, and you will also find a larger door bin right here. Obviously the seats in the front are going to be power heated and ventilated. That's what we had with the middle row seats. And we'll hop on inside here and take a look at what we have with the glove box. You'll find a couple of different setups here. So you have the lower glove box and the upper glove box. Quite a bit of space with the potential of storage areas here. And here's something that's nice. I don't have everything turned on, but here is your dual zone climate control for the front seat area. Yes, you do have some physical controls here. Not the case on every Land Rover model at this point in time. We have a USB port right here, a little bit of storage space here, and the wireless charging pad on this side. A nice clean look here. Now, if you need to, obviously, you can slide that forward, revealing the cup holders. That helps out a lot. And then the shifter. I like how that shifter is set up because my hand just fits around that perfectly. You'll put it into park by pushing that button right there. And here is the good old-fashioned knob for the radio, obviously controlling everything to do with that. And interesting setup here because you have the armrests, and you could also use the lid for the center console as an armrest too. And there are a couple of different ways to use this. I guess you could put some small things here, some pieces of paper, I don't know. Also, some USB connectivity options there as well. But that's not all that we have because, let's see if I can get that to open correctly. In this particular case, we have the refrigerated console. So a couple of different settings on that via the button right there. So quite a bit going on where that is concerned. Let's get to the main area of interest, at least that's what I assume, and that is going to be the driver's compartment. And as we look into the driver's area, driver's seat, driver's compartment, whatever you want to call that, we'll find some additions here. No surprises, and I'll just show you what's here anyway. 3 settings for seat memory, that's always a good thing. And obviously, the seat's going to be power adjustable, heated and ventilated, and you do have a nice heated steering wheel. You also have a power adjustable steering wheel. That control is going to be over here on the right-hand side. And we will start things up, hit our push button start, a very nice looking digital instrument cluster, as you can see. And you'll also find your steering wheel mounted controls here. Everything here I think is pretty easy to deal with and pretty easy to learn, at least in my personal opinion. If you need to turn on your heated steering wheel, you can right there. Today in Northwest Louisiana, we don't need that. It's actually going to be in the 70s, believe it or not, in late January. We have weather that is not sure of what it wants to do. We also have shifter paddles right here for working your way back and forth through the 8-speed automatic transmission. That makes things nice and simplistic, so that's a good thing to have. And like I said earlier, your controls here that are not within the infotainment screen. I like that because it's just so easy to deal with. You don't have to worry about any issues where that's concerned. Physical controls, that's good. Same thing as we saw in the rear. Pull on it to adjust the fan speed, and we push to get back to the temperature, or push again to turn on the ventilated seats or heated seats. I do have the ventilated seats on right now, believe it or not. And the Pivi Pro infotainment screen, that kind of shimmering effect there is not really happening. That has to do with my camera, so don't worry about that. Nothing wrong there. A lot going on here. It is wireless connectivity for your cell phone, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. All of that is here. And you can go right here and get to a lot of different features. You do have built-in navigation. You can see what all is here. I do like the fact that you have all of the different views with multiple cameras on and around the vehicle. Very easy to see what you need to see from a multitude of angles. It really just makes it so simple. And if you were that rare Land Rover owner, I don't know how rare they really are as far as the Land Rover Discovery goes, or anything else for that matter, that maybe does take your Land Rover off-road, or maybe you're braving the jungles of the concrete jungle and somebody parks too close to you, or maybe you park too close to somebody, and you need to see how close you are so you don't hit them. Well, here's an easy way to deal with that. And multiple views, by the way. Let's go back to that area right there just so I can show you on-road and off-road. And you might wonder, well, what's the difference? Well, here you can see what's in front of you so that maybe you don't hit something that's too high, or just in case you want to know, well, what's in front of us if you just want to know. Towing? Well, there you go. You have that view right there because this model is very capable when it comes to things like that. It is capable in a lot of ways. But at the same time, while you have all of this great technology here, it's simple to learn, simple to use. No big deal. You have parking sensors and all sorts of great safety features, obviously. And what about our driving modes? Let's run through that. I'll just show you what's all here. Eco. We'll go back this way to comfort mode. You're also going to have grass, gravel, and snow, mud and ruts, and sand. A little bit of everything. Rock crawl, if you're going to do some rock crawling. Wade. That way, yeah, that's one thing I really like here is the fact that you can drive through high water, decently high water, if you deal with flooding where you live, something like that. And if you want the vehicle to select for you, there's what you do. You just push that right there, just push the selector down, and it will automatically select the driving modes for you. Okay, as we get out on the road for the test drive, I do want to cover one thing I didn't mention earlier, and that is the fact that there's also a head-up display here. Nice and bright, easy to see. Just one of those things I forgot to mention earlier in the video. Now, if you hear a little bit of squeaking and rattling coming from the rear cargo area back there, well, that's a bunch of the different items that come with the vehicle that I actually had moved out to show you the cargo area. So if you hear that, that's what it is. You may not pick up on that. I don't know if my lapel mic will pick that up or not. One way or another, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. It has a nice, comfortable ride quality. The seats seem to balance that out as being comfortable as well. The one thing I really would like to do with more vehicles is have more time with them. As far as the test drive goes, then I can give you a little bit more of a realistic opinion on what things are like. It seems like it would be comfortable on a nice long road trip. Maybe you're somebody who owns a Discovery that's a couple of years older than this. You might be able to tell us down in the comments section about that. So I'm curious to know if you have that kind of feedback to share. But it is an enjoyable vehicle to drive. Definitely going to get the job done. as far as accelerating when you need to accelerate. You can get around slower moving traffic with no problems whatsoever. 355 horsepower definitely gets the job done without any issues, that's for sure. Now you do have a start-stop setup here, idle stop as some manufacturers call it. You can go into the infotainment screen and turn that off. So there are a few things here that are within the infotainment screen as far as different features go, that being one of them. So it would be kind of nice to see some physical button or switch or something like that to use the auto stop start feature to turn that off, but that is not the case. Curious to know what your thoughts are on that. Overall space, I feel very comfortable. Being a mid-size SUV, there's plenty of space here. Not a problem whatsoever. Easy to deal with. You can control the seating position here in the front. I feel very comfortable. Now I'm 5'10", so not super tall, but somebody who's well in excess of 6 feet tall, I believe would be very comfortable. They can adjust the seats accordingly to compensate for that. And overall, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the technology here is very easy to learn, very easy to use. And that's one thing I like to point out. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, well, Tom, I am a little scared of the technology in some of these newer vehicles, not so much because I think it's going to be a problem, it's just learning it. What am I going to do with all of that? Well, there are tutorials all over right where you are right now on YouTube to help you learn that very thing. And what I've discovered over the course of time, I've talked to a lot of people who said, I didn't think I was going to use the technology in these vehicles that I bought, the newer vehicle I bought, to the degree that I have. They've been pleasantly surprised to find out that it's very useful. I think most people will find that to be the case. One way or another, not an issue, nothing to be concerned with. And just an overall enjoyable vehicle to drive. It is a mid-size SUV. It still does have some good maneuverability for getting around when you need to get into tighter spaces. The turning radius is good. It's not as good as a smaller vehicle, obviously, but that goes with the territory. I don't think that will surprise anybody, no matter what the case is. A very versatile vehicle in a lot of ways, not only because of its off-road capabilities that help you out. Yes, we're going to do this the right way. We're going to follow the lane around. A lot of people do tend to turn right a little sharper right there. That's probably where that should have been, where they went, but I'll stay in the lane. But one way or another, the versatility here, not only for just getting around in general, but getting around in a multitude of driving situations, whether it's on-road or off. You have plenty of room for driver and passengers. You do have that third row back there, so the space is there. I personally feel like that's better for the kids than it is for the adults, but it's there to take advantage of when needed. You can tow, plenty of room for cargo capacity when that is needed. I mean, there's just a lot going on here. But the real question to be answered is, does everything that makes up this Land Rover Discovery make it the most versatile luxury midsize SUV? So tell me what you think down in the comments. Is the 2024 Land Rover Discovery the most versatile luxury midsize SUV? It definitely has a lot going for it, a lot of capabilities on-road and off. Very comfortable, plenty of cargo capacity, plenty of space for driver and passengers. A lot of advantages. Curious to know what your thoughts are. If you plan to buy one of these, tell me what trim level, exterior, interior, combinations of colors. I'm curious to know what it is you're going to have. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Land Rover of Shreveport for loaning me this Discovery for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing or simply learning about, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.